Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rich Bradley, President of the Board of Public Service. This is the regular meeting of the Board of Public Service for Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. This is a public meeting, and we have one letting and one hearing today. So at this time, we will handle the letting first. So Helen, are you on?
President Bradley, I do not see her. I can go check if you give me 1 minute.
Tell you what we'll do. Let's do this. Let's handle the hearing first in the interest of time. And then Helen can do the bids once the hearing is over, okay?
Thank you.
So hearing number 128177. Hearing number 128177-RH is being conducted pursuant to section 26.100.030 of the revised code of the city of St. Louis. The purpose of this hearing is to determine whether to revoke the conditional use permit numbered as 128177 issued to Barnes Landscaping, CO James Barnes, for a home occupancy waiver at 7230 Emily Street for a lawn care and landscaping business, office use only. The parties have been notified of the violations of the conditions of this conditional use permit in writing and by certified mail, along with the posted notice of today's hearing date. This hearing has been convened in order to address the issues surrounding conditions 1, subparts A, B, C, D, and H, and condition number 1 states as follows. No home occupation shall be permitted that A, changes the outside appearance of the dwelling or is visible from the street. B, generates traffic, parking, sewage, or other use in excess of what is normal in a residential neighborhood. C, creates a hazard to a person or property, results in electrical interference, or becomes a nuisance. D, results in outside storage or display of anything. And H, violates the following provisions of the 1994 revised code of the city of St. Louis, section 17.30.200A, parking. No commercial truck or bus shall be parked upon any public street where the abutting land is in the A, B, C, D, or E use zone district as established by this ordinance. Any such vehicle parked is declared to be a nuisance and an unlawful obstruction of the street. The Office of Zoning Administrator has the burden to prove the conditional use permit conditions have not been complied with. After all evidence of the zoning administrator has been presented, the board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of the revocation. Then the conditional use holder will be given the opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the board will hear other testimony in opposition to the revocation, if any. The testimony today is being recorded. When you come forward, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to the board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witnesses. During your testimony, members of this board may have questions for you. Following the hearing, the board will proceed with its regular agenda. And following the conclusion of the regular agenda, the board will deliberate, discuss, and vote on the hearing. The board will notify the conditional use holder of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents, which are hereby being introduced into evidence. Item 1, a certified copy of the zoning code of the city of St. Louis. Item 2, the conditional use permit numbered as 128177, issued on January 14th, 2020 for Barnes Landscaping, CO James Barnes, for a home occupation for a lawn care and landscaping business, office use only, at 7230 Emily. Item 3, letters dated February 5th, 2025, sent certified mail to James E. Barnes and Barnes Landscaping, CO James E. Barnes, at 7230 Emily Street, St. Louis, Missouri, 63143, notifying the permit holder of the violations of the permit and providing notice of the public hearing regarding the revocation of conditional use permit numbered as 128177 to be held February 25th, 2025. Item 4, a copy of the email dated December 11th, 2024, from the Neighborhood Improvement Specialist, Brian Coldy, to Sandra Long, and copy to Alderman Brett Narayan regarding the complaints of violations of conditions regarding a home occupancy waiver at 7230 Emily. Item 5, a copy of the public notices of today's hearing in the City Journal dated February 11th, February 18th, and February 25th, 2025. Photographs. Item 6, photographs dated February 22nd, 2025 of a sign posted at 7320 Emily Street, notifying the public of today's hearing at room 325 City Hall at 1:45. And item 7, additional photographs dated January 28th, 2025 of the outside conditions at 7230 Emily Street. At this time, the Board of Public Service asks the representative, the Office of Zoning Administrator, to please come forward and be sworn in.
The testimony that you're about to give before this board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes.
Thank you. Please state your name for the board.
My name's Sandra Long, 1200 Market Street. I conducted an investigation on February 22nd, and it was basically the same conditions. There was a couple boxes moved off the driveway and the sign was taken down. But in fact, now there's a truck parked in front of the house as well as the trailer that was there. So I didn't see any of the violations complied.
Okay, so just to make sure the board is clear on your zoning inspection, the resident, the conditional use permit holder is still in violation of the noted conditions, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you, Sandra. At this time, I'll ask if the board has any questions for our zoning administrator's representative, Sandra Long. Okay, seeing none, thank you, Ms. Long. At this time, if there's anyone else present who wishes to testify that the noted conditions have not been complied with, please come forward and be sworn in. And Michelle, I believe that you indicated there was a gentleman in your office who is the NIS, correct?
That's correct. His name is Brian Cody.
Please proceed. Swearing him in.
The testimony that you're about to give before this board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes,
Thank you. Please state your name for the board.
it's Brian Coldy, Neighborhood Improvement Specialist, City of St. Louis, Department of Public Safety, 1520 Market Street, room 4000.
Please proceed and tell the board concerning your comments on this revocation hearing.
Yeah, I'm not here to be for or against it. I'm just going to state what has been brought to my attention, what my observations are. So this came from Alderman Narayan's office to me, asked me to check it out. I did. There's trucks, trailers, and trailers full of debris, which does not, I'm not even sure if it's landscaping debris, but just always full of various debris. The trailers are in various states of conditions, flat tire. So there's trucks parked both sides of the street. It's very difficult for people, including myself, when I go to survey the street as part of my normal job duties, to even get to the end of the street past all of these vehicles. And, today I went by just about 11 o'clock and there was a truck. The truck that was there was up on jack. So it appears to be, not operable at the moment. The trailer, sometimes there's other trucks, there's pickup trucks involved. There's some kind of an open bed, large truck. It's not quite a dump truck. And that often has debris in it. And then for a while there was debris on the street. It appeared more like mulch and yard waste that was on the street. that appear to be cleaned up at this point. But also, some time ago, it was at least a year ago, someone was also having trouble getting roll cart collection because the trash trucks could not get down to that end of the street between all of these vehicles parked on the street. And these are not, these are all commercial type vehicles. These are heavy trailers, these are not small trailers. These are big things, and as well as the trucks. And they must have worked out something with refuse because the trash is getting picked up. I don't know if the drivers are getting out of the truck to retrieve the carts, or they're placing them in a way they can get it. But that had been a problem, which seems resolved, but it's still an inconvenience. So the debris on the driveway is kind of a newer thing. There's often a trailer on the driveway, which is just open storage issues. And the signage, I didn't notice that today, one way or the other. My focus has been on the trailers and the trucks and the congestion. So it's a dead end street. So people have trouble getting in and out of the driveway at all. And it's very difficult to maneuver. I have trouble getting back out of the street when I pull down into this zone because of this congestion. So it is causing a lot of problems for a number of people, and it's very unsightly, and it's definitely not an office type of use that is occurring on the street or on the outside of the property. So that's pretty much what I have observed. And so I pursued it based on what I observed and took pictures and forwarded them on to Sandra, and they took it from there.
Okay, so based on your testimony, and I'm gonna open the floor up for questions in just a moment. So based on your testimony today, it appears to me that an office use only conditional use permit holder would be in violation of their conditional use, correct?
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
Yeah, in my opinion, this is not office use. This is, these all seem like violations of specific conditions that specifically say there shouldn't be traffic or commercial vehicles, and this is both of those for sure. And the movability of these vehicles is questionable, at least the trailer. The other vehicles come and go. So yes, I would say this is not in compliance currently. And if these vehicles, in my opinion, this type of operation, it appears that the operation is being run from there rather than just the office. And if the owner of the business wants to find a parcel that's zone J or K industrial and have the operations there and have the office in the house, I don't think anyone is opposed, that I've talked to, is opposed to having an office in the house. It's just, this is not office use activity.
Thank you for answering that question. At this time, I'll open the floor from any questions from any of our other board directors.
Yeah, Brian, I got a couple questions. Thanks for the information. You may have alluded to it. I know when you said you were there last, I believe the date, but about when was the first time you started seeing these concerns? How long ago, you think?
It was November 1st I believe it was November 1st is when I received communication from the Board of Aldermen's office to, hey, go check this out, please. And I did. I had noticed vehicles before when this trash issue came up, but that got resolved. So I didn't really, I just assumed it was a temporary situation. Clearly, it's an ongoing situation, and it does not seem to have gotten better at any given time. I mean, there may be days where there's one trailer and no trucks, and another days where there's 3-4 vehicles, but there's almost always something there. And so I started documenting this around November 1st.
Oh, thank you. So about 4 months ago of the issues. A couple more quick questions. I assume these are occupied residences that are close by on Emily?
Yes.
And my
It's a
last,
single
my last
family.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you, sorry.
Sorry, they're all single family residences, and as far as I can tell, when I check the zoning maps, it's all zoned. Adjacent properties are all a single family.
Thank you. And my final question is, for the average citizen driving on Emily, or, I guess, worse, would you say an emergency vehicle would have, safe and easy access through there to get to someone in distress, or would it be difficult?
I personally, I believe it would be difficult, certainly for a fire truck. Maybe a smaller vehicle could get through. I can get through sort of, but I have to do some weird turns. So there's a house beyond this one on the end. I don't know. It would be difficult to get to that house directly. So it gets very congested at that pinch point, and I have to do weird maneuvers even up on curbs and things just to turn around at the end.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Any other questions for the NIS from any of our board members? Seeing none. At this time, if there is anyone else present who wishes to testify the noted conditions have not been complied with, please come forward and be sworn in. Michelle, is anyone else in the office with you to testify?
No, there's not.
Thank you. And I do not see anyone else on the screen to testify that way. I don't see anyone in the chat. So one more time, if there's anyone else present who wishes to testify the noted conditions have not been complied with, please come forward at this time and bring it to my attention. I believe you are the conditional use holder, correct? Okay, we're not to you yet, sir. You're next. So at this time, there is no one else present to testify in support of the revocation. At this time, the board asks the conditional use permit holder to come forward and be sworn in. I will unmute you. Go ahead and swear him in, Michelle.
Please raise your right hand. The testimony that you're about to give before this board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Please state your name and address, mailing address for the board.
James Barnes Jr., 7230 Emily Street.
So, Mr. Barnes, I'm going to start off just a little bit here with just a little bit of narrative, and then I'm going to give you certainly an opportunity to address the board and say what it is you would like to say. So just to be clear, a conditional use is granted by this board to individuals to operate in an area that is not zoned for whatever that business is that we're granting the permit for. In this case, it's a landscaping business office only, and the conditions are those that I read in the beginning on the introduction. And so the idea is that you're having a business in a neighborhood, you're conducting business, and you're generally not to be, bothersome or known by the neighbors. You go about your business and they go about theirs, and everything goes on.
Can you hear me?
Yes. So,
Okay.
so what I'm saying is the testimony we've heard so far is contrary to that, but what I'd like you to do is to address the board with your side of the story.
Okay. Yeah, no. So I've been there since 2019, and I've talked to my neighbors about the different stuff I have going on. Since today, my brother, he took the trailer, he went to go dump it and move it to my uncle's lot. And then my small trailer is behind my gate as of now. The sign's going. He cleaned the street up. And then the trucks. So am I not allowed to have a truck bigger than a Silverado or like a 1500? Because I own the F-350 and the 1500. My brother owns a truck as well. So are we not allowed to have trucks, or
Right.
we just
So
can't?
basically, by condition H, the revised code of the city of St. Louis, section 17.30.020A parking. No commercial truck or bus shall be parked upon any street abutting land as A, B, C, D, or E use zoning district. So here's what my interpretation would that would be. If you
Uh-huh.
have a personalized pickup truck that is
Yeah.
your vehicle that you utilize, that has no markings on the side, has nothing in the bed, and it looks like a typical residential vehicle owned by a residential individual, yes, you
Mhm.
can have that vehicle parked in front of your residence. Now, when I say that, I would say what's reasonable to the residents. So 10 of those probably wouldn't be reasonable. You know what I'm saying? You
Right,
can't
right.
operate the business out of there, but if it's your personal pickup, non-marked,
You
and
that's
nothing
what
in the bed, you could do it.
that's my personal pickup right there. You can see, so
Yes. Is it
yeah.
marked on the
That's-
side?
I mean, it's 20 years old, so it got dents and stuff on it.
No. Is there a sign on the side
Oh,
identifying?
no,
the business?
no, there's no signs on it, no.
Okay, and then I would say that's not a problem.
Yeah, none of my vehicles have signs on them.
Okay, but again, the bed of the truck cannot be filled with debris or with
Okay,
things for operating your business. Yeah,
I
obviously, if
understand.
you use it for that before you park it there at night, everything would need to be somewhere else.
I got you. Okay, so can I have like shovels and rakes, or would they have to be taken out?
I would say everything would be pretty much emptied out of the bed that would pertain to your business. That would be my
Okay,
take.
okay.
Now, I'm also gonna say this to you. Probably this board is just for high level clarification. What I would highly recommend you do is contact Ms. Long, the zoning administrators, individual who testified. If you have any
Mhm.
questions whatsoever, and vet those out with her and the zoning administrator to make sure you're in compliance.
Okay, so I think I talked to her before, and I didn't get a clear understanding because I've seen, like, I'm in the city right now. You see the trailer right there. Okay, since I'm a business owner, am I not allowed to own a trailer and have it in my driveway, or would it have to be somewhere? Because some days, man, I may get off at 9 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? And then it's tough. And so I'm trying to see, am I not allowed to own a trailer, or what is the conditional use for that?
So again, I think that at this level, the board here is abiding by and ruling on conditions that are placed on this by the
Uh-huh.
zoning administrator's office. I think your best bet would be is to get with Sandra Long, the zoning administrator, Mary Hart Burton, ask those questions and make sure you clearly understand what you can and cannot do, as they
Okay.
recommend to us what is and what is not a violation of your condition.
Okay.
Does that
I
make
got
sense
you.
to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what I guess I'm understanding from your testimony and so forth is you want to comply with the conditions. You are trying to comply with the conditions. You just need
Yeah.
clarifications.
I think some clarification because this is the first. So it's 2025. I bought the house in 2019, and I've talked to my neighbors before, the three that are around me, and we were all like on the same understanding that I have different trucks that my brother has, and I have two trucks.
Right.
So I don't know who or what. I mean, I'm not upset or nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's cool, but I just want to be on the same page with you guys so I can be copacetic with everybody.
Correct, and I think the best answer to that would be is to work through the zoning section. And we obviously, want you to comply, and we also want you to be concerned with your neighbors and make sure that they are not being impeded on by your business, if that makes sense.
Right. I got you. That's no problem.
Okay, all right, at this time, I'm gonna ask if there's any questions from our board members, for Mr. Barnes, our conditional use permit holder. Okay, seeing no questions, thank you, Mr. Barnes. I will go ahead and mute you again.
Okay.
All right, and at this time, if there is anyone who is in opposition to this revocation who wishes to testify beyond our conditional use permit holder, please bring it to my attention at this time. Michelle, I'm assuming again, there's no one else in the room who is opposing this revocation, is that correct?
That's correct. No, there's not.
Thank you. And I don't see anyone in the chat, and I don't see anyone else on the screen. So one more time, at this time, if there's anyone present opposing this revocation who wishes to testify, please bring it to my attention at this time. Seeing none, the matter concerning hearing number 128177 is now closed and submitted. The board will deliberate this matter after the remaining agenda items. I also have a clarification for the board. I spoke with Ms. Bryant, and there is no letting today. Letting 8786 will be held on March 25th, not February 25th. So we have no letting today. So at this time, I'll ask Secretary to please call the roll.
Director Coyle? Director Davis?
Present.
Director Hayes?
Present.
Director Patel?
Present.
Director Pearson is excused. Director Williams? President Bradley.
Present, we have a quorum. I will call this meeting to order.
Regular business from the president. Recommendation that approval be given as follows. Facilities Management Division Emergency Generator Service, inspection, repair, and maintenance contract with Cummings, Inc. This contract provides service for city-owned facilities at various locations through June 30th, 2026, and is renewable for up to 4 additional one-year terms. The maximum contract not to exceed the amount $2 million. From the Office of Special Events, request for the following to be approved, subject to certain conditions. There are 5 special events to be declared as festival zones. Number 1, Slipping into Darkness will take place on H Street between Hickory and Dead End on March 7th from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. and March 8th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Setup and teardown will begin on March 6th at 8 a.m. and end on March 10th at 1 p.m. Number 2, Downtown St. Pat's Day Parade will take place in the downtown streets and parks on Market from 20th to Broadway on March 15th from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Setup and teardown will begin on March 14th at 8 a.m. and end on March 17th at 5 p.m. Cardinals Opening Day Rally will take place on Walnut Street between South 8th and 6th Street on March 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Setup and teardown will begin at 10 a.m. and end at 5 p.m. Kegs and Eggs Opening Day will take place on 7th Street between Market and Walnut on March 27th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Setup and teardown will begin on March 26th at 8 a.m. and end on March 27th at 5 p.m. Cardinals 5K will take place in the streets throughout downtown on April 19th from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Setup and teardown will begin at 5 a.m. and end at noon. From the Director of Public Safety and Utilities, joint recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Request by Zarin Properties LLC to subdivide 6300 Minnesota Avenue in City Block 2950. From the Directors of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Request by Union Electric doing business as Ameren, Missouri, to construct 2 pre-case equipment vaults and approximately 40 linear feet of 5 to 5-inch PL concrete encased duct bank. Joint recommendation that 2 applications from Charter be approved, subject to certain conditions. Application number 12 for 4385 St. Louis Avenue. Application number 13 for 519 Whittier Street. We have 5 conditional use permits from the Director of Public Safety.
For board order number 766 transmitted herewith are recommendations for the following conditional use agenda applications. Approval with conditions is recommended for 5 applications. 4301 South Broadway, 4231 East Natural Bridge Avenue, 4266 Natural Bridge Avenue, 3901 Washington Boulevard, and 5500 South Broadway. I request that these recommendations be approved as submitted.
Thank you, Sandra. Are there any questions or comments on today's conditional uses? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve, please.
So moved, Davis.
Second
Second,
Coyle.
Williams.
Thank you, directors. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle?
Aye.
Director Davis?
Aye.
Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Patel?
Aye.
Director Williams?
Aye.
President Bradley.
Aye, today's conditional uses are approved. Thank you. Hearing number 128177-RH for Barnes Landscaping at 7230 Emily Street, office use only. Today, we heard from both our zoning administrator and as well as the NIS, that the conditional use permit holder is in violation of the noted conditions A, B, C, D, and H of condition number 1. And so then we heard from the conditional use permit holder, and he asked a series of questions about what it would take to get into compliance, and indicated both verbally and through video that he is trying to get into compliance with what the conditional uses are, and was recommended to have a discussion with the zoning administrator's office for all the proper clarifications. And there was no one else to testify in opposition to today's revocation hearing. So at this point, I'll open the floor for any questions.
Um, President Bradley, I don't have any questions, but I feel that we should allow time for this business owner to work with the Sandra Long, so that she can assist him and make sure that he is in compliance and understand the rules of what he has signed up for.
Thank you, Director. Any further comments?
I'll make a motion, with Director Williams' comment in mind. I make a motion that we provide Mr. Barnes 30 days to get in compliance with the concerns that have been brought to us by Ms. Long, and provide Mr. Barnes 30 days to get these issues resolved, and no revocation.
Thank you, Director. I
Second.
have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director. Any further discussion? Seeing none, can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle,
Aye.
Director Davis,
Aye.
Director Hayes,
Aye.
Director Patel,
Aye.
Director Williams,
Aye.
President Bradley.
Aye, we will give the conditional use holder 30 days to get in compliance with the conditional use permit. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from last Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Are there any questions or comments on the meeting minutes as submitted? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second, Hayes.
Thank you, Directors. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle,
Aye.
Director Davis,
Aye.
Director Hayes,
Aye.
Director Patel,
Abstain.
so noted. Director Williams,
Aye.
President Bradley.
Aye, the meeting minutes are approved. Today's agenda, are there any questions or comments on today's BPS meeting agenda? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve, please.
Motion to approve, Williams. Can you hear me?
Thank you, Directors. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle, Director Davis,
Aye. Coyle.
Aye.
Director Hayes,
Aye.
Director Patel,
Aye.
Director Williams,
Aye.
President Bradley.
Aye, today's agenda is approved. Before we adjourn, are there any questions or any comments from any of our board directors? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Hayes.
Second, Davis.
Thank you, Directors. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, meeting adjourned. Thank you all. Have a nice afternoon.